Hello, ladies and gentlemen. Welcome back to Michael and Benjamin's podcast. I am the Michael of Michael and Benjamin's podcast, and I am here alone in the physical tiny room because I am joined today in the digital version of the physical tiny room by the man who has been called the Michelangelo de Medici of Irish podcasting.
Aww.
It's Benjamin.
Oh, that's me. Oh,
yeah,
Michael,
you
do care. Michael,
the Caravaggio of Irish podcasting.
Michael, you've forgotten to mention a very important thing there.
What did I
on the
forget to
podcast?
mention?
You're all alone on your birthday in the tiny room. It's Michael's birthday, ladies and gentlemen.
On my birthday. Thank you, everybody. Please don't use that information to haxer me.
Yeah, well, don't haxer him, but you do leave him a happy birthday down below in the comments, or send us in. I tell you what, on the Instagram, send us in little videos of you saying happy birthday to Michael. We'd love it. We'd love it.
Yeah, we would like that.
Tag us in the video.
Just hit our Patreon at
Michael's personal Patreon that Ben didn't know about.
We don't have a Patreon.
No, we don't.
I'm only joking.
We don't.
Benjamin.
Yes.
Theme music for the podcast. We don't actually have any theme music, but I hope someone will make some up for us. I don't wanna name any names. Rachel, I hope it's Rachel.
We put up this week a new video on the internet. I don't know if you've seen it.
I have seen it, Michael. I have. There's very little to do here in Italy in between drawing and other stuff. So I often have time to watch large video files made by friends that are very good. It's very good, Michael.
Benjamin, your head is bobbling around wildly, and you're giving me an
It's okay. It's oh dear.
And now
that's
you've
not
gone.
Oh no.
Where's he gone?
What happened there?
He hung up.
Yeah, okay. I kept recording, so it's fine. But yeah, sorry about that.
Yeah, that was good.
We just had a little
Benjamin.
Yeah.
We'll just keep going. Benjamin, me and our friend of the podcast and occasional guest Shane, we went to a Comic-Con in Ireland.
Yeah, you did. A Comic-Con in Ireland. A field in England. A Comic-Con in Ireland. Yes. And then we met, we interviewed people for Comic-Con, and we interviewed people doing cosplays and whatnot, and we had quite a lovely time meeting all of those. You love a whatnot. Yeah, they seemed like a lovely bunch of lads and ladies.
Well, Ben, it's good because I know we've been going nearly 2 years, but in the field of going to Comic-Cons and interviewing people, we're still quite new. I think
the field of interviewing people at Comic-Cons is still quite new. I'm not sure that's necessarily us, Michael.
That's a fair point, Ben.
There's not a lot of coverage. What I'm saying here, Michael, is that we're fucking great and we're pioneers. Pioneering pod.
Yeah, it's my birthday, and for my birthday, I got some pie in my ear.
Yeah, we love
pioneers.
That's an old Irish tradition. We make a potato pie and we stuff it in the ears of the birthday boy.
Yeah, and that's the origin of the word pioneer.
Yeah, that's where it comes from, because it's an unusual thing that we started. Pioneer. Yeah,
Ben. So if people want to see that video of my sweaty head, Ben, I was in a wetsuit.
Yeah, that wasn't a smart move, Michael. I'll be honest. I've seen better ideas.
Look, here's the thing. I shaved a bald spot in my head.
Yes.
So I would look more like Jason Statham from the film The Meg.
Which I appreciated.
And there were several drawbacks to that idea. The first drawback was, in a wetsuit, I was so sweaty that you couldn't really tell that I'd shaved a bald patch in my head.
That's a shame, because everything glistened.
Yeah, I was very glistening, but not in a good way. The second thing, Ben, was it was Shane's wetsuit. So the fact that all of my sweat was pooling up inside it kind of amused me, because I didn't have to deal with it afterwards.
But Shane was horrified because he had a lot of mixed sweat.
Well, we disrobed me later in the car park.
Oh God!
And as we were disrobing me, we pulled the wetsuit off, and it popped off and sprayed sweaty water everywhere. Well, I suppose it wasn't sweaty water; it was just sweat.
Oh God!
It was like a jism of sweat just all over the car park. It was kind of disgusting, to be honest with you.
Ladies and gentlemen, anyone who wants to stop listening to the podcast has my full permission to do so now. I completely understand why you wouldn't want to do that. That's awful.
Ben,
Jesus.
As you know, Ben,
yeah.
As you know, we've been going to cons for a couple of years. This one was quite unusual. It was in the RDS in Dublin.
Okay, that's very big.
And it is. It is and it isn't.
Oh.
It was in Simmons Court, Ben, which is essentially a giant shed.
Yes.
It's an enormous shed. And it felt every inch the new con in a shed.
Oh, it had that whack of, we haven't done this before.
Yeah, exactly. Which is interesting considering how Dublin Comic Con, how far they've come from when they started.
Quite a sharp contrast to the quite professional level of Dublin Comic Con. If we're honest, we had press passes in next to no time there.
You know what I'm saying? And even if you watch the video, Benjamin, one of the difficulties for us in making the video, this is a behind the curtain look at what goes on in Michael and Benjamin's podcast.
BTS.
One of the behind the screen scenes. Okay,
there we go.
One of the difficulties was in Dublin Comic Con, we had lots of lovely, bright, shiny places to film with nice panel work and burgundy carpets and stuff.
Good lighting.
This one was in a shed.
Yeah, so you had all the drawbacks and pitfalls of shed filming.
Yeah, it was grey and echoey and loud.
You'll recall one of Stanley Kubrick's key pieces of advice for upcoming cameramen and cinematographers was never film in a fucking shed.
That's the title of the autobiography, as far as I recall.
Stanley Kubrick, 1972, never film in a fucking shed.
Benjamin, speaking of moving on, did you... I've made myself laugh
Smooth as butter.
Speaking of moving on, how's Justice League Dark going?
Justice League Dark is V good, Michael. We have stolen a premise from Stranger Things, the Upside Down Man. There's kind of an upside down realm. But it's interesting. It turns out there's been some nice twisting of kind of very gold standard characters. Are you aware of Dr. Fate, Michael?
Yes, he's a helmet.
Yes, he's a helmet, exactly. The helmet is Naboo, and then Naboo needs a human host to wield magic in this world. So the helmet is fairly moot by itself. But it turns out that magic was stolen many eons ago by the humans, and now the original owners of magic are coming to take it back. So it's interesting. It has interesting kind of undertones of the Magic Order by Mark Millar, but in a much broader DC affecting sense. So magic is as the title of the series would suggest, very dark in this. It's very horrific. The main villain of this is a guy called the Upside Down Man. And he refers to himself as horror incarnate. He is the embodiment of all the fear that humans ever feel. He's the thing that lurks kind of on the outside and causes all that.
Ooh, Halloween.
Yeah, it's good. It's good. Wonder Woman has been upgraded. Swamp Thing is getting an L. It looks like they're looking to maybe retire Alec Holland as the Swamp Thing. Constantine's getting a few adjustments here and there. It's interesting to see. It's good character development. It's very, very good read. Go and pick it up. Detective Chimp is wonderful comic relief throughout. And yes, you heard that right. Detective Chimp.
What do you think will become of Swamp Thing? Will we have a replacement Swamp Thing?
Swamp Thing is looks like he's picking out some prime real estate in the Parliament of Trees. The Parliament of Trees is where elementals go to retire. It's where they do after their decades or centuries of service. They go and join the Parliament of Trees in the Amazon.
Even Dame Judi Dench from the film Chronicles of Riddick.
Yes, she went to the Parliament of Trees in the Amazon to hang out with Alan Moore and drink tea. It looks like they might be looking at a way to kind of mess around with all that. There's a bit of MacGuffining going on with Wonder Woman. There's a bit of retconning, but it's not bad retconning. Wonder Woman kind of needs a bit of pizzazz anyway. So yeah. I'm all for it. I'm all for it at the minute.
Benjamin, it's interesting that you compared that to the Magic Order, because if you remember a few weeks ago, you compared Justice League Dark to the new Immortal Hulk.
I did. It remains consistent in that tone. To be fair, the Upside Down Man is a very entertaining villain. And the magic that they use in this particular comic book series is very unsettling. It's quite unpleasant to read some of the things that happen due to magic.
I like a story, Ben, where magic is, a force that an unnatural force that shouldn't really be tampered with.
Absolutely, like Zatanna can't actually use her magic because magic is misbehaving. That's the problem. And you're having
Ben, I heard about this.
Yeah.
This is why Zatanna says her spells backwards or upside down, because if she says them the right way around, then people will find her.
Yeah, exactly.
This was a twist recently. Oh, okay, that's from that.
It's all to do with that.
Benjamin, conversely, the Immortal Hulk has actually started going downhill.
It has
into a standard schlocky superhero nonsense.
It's a bit depressing. I really enjoyed it up until then.
Yeah, and I blame you because you recommended it to me. And then also, the Magic Order is actually turning quite good. I like where the Magic Order is going.
Yeah, again, horror magic is a real thing. See, you're a massive cosmic horror fan, Michael.
Thanks, Ben. Thanks for telling me that.
I have to admit that through your passion for cosmic horror, I've become something of a cosmic horror fan myself, Michael.
Good.
Which brings me.
I still hate poems.
But yeah, that's fine. It's all right. I only wrote you 6 of them for your birthday, but it's all right. I suppose if that's
Happy birthday!
I suppose your good lady friend will maybe just, scrapbook them for the podcast scrapbook. But all right, that's fine. To the Prick I Do a Podcast With by Benjamin Colopy.
That's nice.
But speaking of cosmic horror, Michael, I have another recommendation for you that you'll probably end up hating eventually. Have you heard of the Ice Cream Man, Michael?
Like the guy who drives a van around the local estates. Yeah.
My
favorite evil ice cream man is Sweet Tooth from the video game Twisted Metal.
It is not dissimilar to that. The Ice Cream Man is evil in this as well. So Ice Cream Man, I think, will appeal to you massively because it is a horror kind of anthology series. So the key figure is the Ice Cream Man, and he's kind of a cosmic entity in the style of It. He's kind of this kind of creature, and his powers are... they don't seem to have a limit, but he seems to be growing stronger as these twisty kind of macabre tales unfold. It's really cool. It's set in the same village where he does his ice cream round. And each story is kind of a white picket fence American suburban tale, and then they get horrific kind of twists as they go along. And what I really like about it is it's consistent in the tone in which the Ice Cream Man is portrayed, but it's very experimental each issue. And it's really interesting to read this. And recently, the Ice Cream Man's role has become more and more. And you can see that he's very much like a Lovecraftian horror beast that's growing and feeding on the town and all the horrible things that are happening in the town.
Very interesting,
and
Ben.
He's kind of seizing all these things. It's very interesting. There's a mysterious hero. It's going to be a whole thing. It seems like the battle for this town's soul is going to be a thing. And more important than that, Michael, because it's Halloween, I recommend you check it out. There's a Daredevil popped up on the screen there. I recommend you check it out because it's going to be adapted into a TV series.
Good.
Yes, there are no stars in line to do it, but it is to be adapted by the same people that did Happy for Sci-Fi.
You were a big fan of that.
And it was an excellent series. Season 2 is coming out. Not sure I'm a big fan of that. There's no need to continue that. It was a very good self-contained series, but apparently that doesn't matter anymore, and we're just going to churn them out till we make enough money. But I'm sure it'll be just as good. It's a very good series, and I'm looking forward to Ice Cream Man. I thoroughly recommend it if you're into, again, something that's just genuinely unsettling. It's just uncomfortable to read sometimes, in a very good way. Big fan. Go check out Ice Cream Man.
Ben, you should get yourself a PlayStation and play the original Twisted Metal series.
Really?
Because the lead villain in that series, I think his name was Callisto, but he was that kind of mysterious wish-granting evil force who, everyone enters the Twisted Metal tournament for a specific reason, and if they win, they get their wish. But he turns it around on them.
That's very much, obviously, whoever... Oh, no, it's Maxwell... Is his name Maxwell Price? Hang on, I'm just going to do a quick little fact check there, Michael.
Max Price.
Maxwell... No, sorry, W. Maxwell Prince is the name of the writer of it. And it's drawn by Martin Morazzo. It's got very nice art, very organic, kind of Frank Quietly but cleaned up. Frank Quietly but cleaned up.
His art cleaned up, or the man himself cleaned up?
No, Frank Quietly art cleaned up. I'll send you a little panel here, Michael, while we're chatting, and you can decide it for yourself. What you think of it.
We'll leave a moment of silence now while we wait for this.
We can keep talking. But I think very much something that you, Michael, will just really sink your teeth into. And have a good time. Very reminiscent of the Age of Doom, or the Hammer of Doom. No, wait, what's that series?
Black Hammer.
Black, thank you very much. Black Hammer, very reminiscent of that art style, but again, a little bit more cleaned up. But to give you a rough idea of what you'll be dealing with, Michael, here we go. I'm just going to slap this into the chat. No, I'm not going to slap it into that chat. That's going to go horribly wrong. But yeah, Michael, I recommend that you check it out. It's good.
This is podcast magic, Ben.
Podcast magic.
Let's move on.
It'll come through there as you're.
While we wait for that.
There. So yeah, be good.
As you know, Ben, as you are no doubt aware, Benjamin.
Go on.
Daredevil came out this weekend.
I wasn't aware of that until yesterday, Michael, when you told me.
I know. It was quite confusing for you.
Yeah.
But Ben, that is quite nice. It's very Black Hammer.
Yeah, yeah.
It's like if Frank quietly drew Black Hammer. That's a very concise description of that.
Yeah. I think you'll enjoy it, Michael. Go pick it up from your local comic shop.
Is that an ice cream monster or a poop monster?
It's an ice cream monster in this case.
Okay, good.
In this case. He is very itty in the fact that that's not his true form or anything like that. He's just very malleable as a human being.
Oh, okay.
Or as a creature.
I got it.
But yeah.
Benjamin.
Yes.
Yes, Daredevil came out. And I have seen quite a bit, but not all of it.
Okay. How much?
Yeah. 6 episodes.
Ooh.
Is that half?
That's half.
I don't know. I don't know if this is a 10 or a 13 episode.
By Netflix standards, it's a half. So, Michael, tell me, return to form or leave it out?
Ben, the mission of this series is very much... The whole point of this series is a return to form.
Good.
You know what I'm saying? The symbolic loss of the much maligned kind of Captain America style Daredevil suit.
I liked that suit. I had no problem with that suit.
I like it too, Ben. It's not the most Daredevil-y suit you've ever seen. It was very MCU.
But I could live with that.
Look, Ben,
it's a good suit. Be good.
Cosplayers the world around are rejoicing that he's returned to black clothes and a black mask, because that's very easy to do.
The poster was interesting. It's him shedding the suit. To be revealed.
It's burning off,
and it seems to be it seems to be an interesting thing of he really wore this suit to legitimize his image, and now he doesn't need that anymore.
Yeah, I get what you're saying.
I suppose he is far more threatening as a blind man that just seems to be able to fight in the dark. It seems to be a far more.
Well, I mean, the black suit he's wearing is the classic ninja outfit, basically.
Yeah,
except it's covering the top of the head instead of the bottom of the face.
Yeah. Yeah, it's interesting.
So what people really want, obviously, is a series about a lawyer who's a ninja.
Yeah, but he's not a lawyer anymore, Michael, is he? He seems to
Did you just call me Markle?
No, I said Michael.
Oh, okay. Look, we'll hear that when it plays back. Maybe my internet connection was weird. Ben.
Yeah.
It has the opening of the series has a lot of the look. I've learned a lot from our time together, Ben. The opening of the series has a lot of the classic tropes of superhero.
Oh, Michael, music
prequels.
To my ears.
Yeah,
a year older and a year wiser, indeed. Oh,
yeah, exactly. Let's just keep talking about it being my birthday.
Yeah, I'm not going to let that go, Michael.
Old. Ben, it has a lot of the classic superhero tropes, and a lot of the classic superhero tropes that I'm personally not usually a fan of.
Oh, okay.
For example, this is all basically episode 1 and 2, so I'm going to lightly spoil it.
That's fine. I don't mind. Major spoilers for anyone who hasn't seen it yet ahead. So.
Yeah, look, let's do a little song. I will by the end of this little rendition of Rock DJ by Robbie Williams, we'll move on to the spoilers. I'm just gonna rock DJ, 'cause you're making me feel so nice. When's it gonna stop, DJ? 'Cause you're keeping me up all night. Okay, spoilers.
How many subscribers did we just lose?
I don't know. A lot. Ben,
go on.
It'd be great if we got a copyright strike on that.
I think we might.
I love how iTunes auto detection detected my singing was so close to the original.
Because you are basically Robbie Williams with a different colour hair.
Yeah, I mean, we're both kind of laddish Englishmen.
Yeah.
Who left their respective pop groups. Ben, let me talk about Daredevil. Stop interrupting me.
I didn't interrupt you. You went off on a
tangent. No, I'm interrupting myself. I'm upset at me, but I'm reflecting it onto you.
Classic Michael. Classic Michael trope.
Yes, tropes. Well done. You've got me back on track. It has a lot of the classic superhero tropes that I personally usually don't like, and it made me not really like episode 1 and 2 that much.
Oh dear.
Here are some of the classic tropes. Superhero loses his powers.
Oh no.
Yeah, so there's that, and you're like, oh, just get your powers back. Come on. This is ridiculous. Superhero doubts his identity.
Classic.
As a superhero.
Classic.
Superhero returns from the death, but doesn't inform friends that he's back.
Of course.
And so we watch friends grieving all the while knowing that he's actually back.
He's grand.
Yeah, he's grand. He's back. And, like, friends talk about, oh, if he was back, don't you think he'd let us know? And you're like, oh,
their guilt.
Come on, guys.
Yeah.
Come on. Luckily, Ben, most of that is resolved relatively quickly.
Nice.
Relatively quickly. Now, it is a bloody Netflix Marvel superhero show, so relatively quickly is bloody 2.5 hours.
Yeah, it's not quickly enough, Michael. Not quickly enough.
It's not quickly enough for me. But, Ben, it is good. Kingpin his machinations are to an almost comical level.
But that's what you want from the Kingpin, though. Like,
yeah.
Come on.
I like how I've been enjoying how when he does a machination, we usually find out in an episode or two that it was a machination.
Nice.
But then, even though everything is turning out to be a machination, no one goes, well, maybe this last thing that happened is also a machination.
Michael, could you, for the ladies and gentlemen at home, just explain a machination, just in case they're not 100% sure what that might be?
An evil plan, then, an evil manipulation.
Thank you.
So, yeah, he's good. Ben Poindexter, which is the name of one of the characters, and it's unbelievable that I've never called you that.
Fair.
Is quite an interesting character so far.
FBI agent gone wrong.
Well, he hasn't really gone wrong yet.
FBI agent struggling to stay on the straight and narrow.
Yeah, Ben, I don't know if by the end of the series he's going to conclusively be Bullseye. I don't know if he's going to get the name and the code word and the uniform and whatnot.
Yeah.
But we see his powers such as they were in episode 3 or 4, and it's a good little gunfight. He rebounds bullets off lampposts to get people hiding around corners and stuff.
Nice.
It's pretty good. I don't know how you can introduce Bullseye into a series and not be immediately thinking, how are you going to have him show down against Hawkeye?
That's fair. That'd be interesting. Yeah.
It would be fun. Shooting each other's bullets out of the air and stuff. It would be
good crack.
That'd be kind of fun.
Jeremy Renner just pops up all of a sudden.
Yeah. He just goes, hello, I'm Jeremy Renner.
I wasn't in Avengers 4, but I'm here now.
I'm here now. No, he's going to be in Avengers 4, Ben.
I don't suppose there's any mention of the snap in
No. But there is a little, I think, sideways mention to it that he has been daredeviling about for months, not years.
Okay.
So I think the timeline is a little bit behind.
Okay.
If you're with me there,
so it's pre-snap.
If you get me. But Ben, look, the reason people come to a Daredevil is to see a blind man ninjing about the place and getting in fights.
Yeah.
And so far, the fights have been excellent.
Oh, good.
In particular, episode 4, I'm not going to explain why or anything, but he goes to a prison.
Oh.
And there is a fantastic fight. He's trying to fight his way out of a prison.
Is it a classic corridor Daredevil moment?
Oh, yeah. Like, he opens the door and there's 3 men standing in the corridor.
I love a corridor fight.
It's not even the first Marvel Netflix prison corridor fight.
No,
because
Punisher beat him to it.
Punisher. Also, it's a lot less bloody than Punisher's.
Fair.
If you remember Punisher, there was a lot of stabbing and rage and screaming.
There was a lot of stabbing, rage, and screaming. But that was Punisher's motif. That's the thing that Punisher does.
But I think, Ben, the prison scene, just the whole sequence itself, is probably... Excuse me for a second there, I did a burp.
Oh, okay. I was wondering what that was. I was like, oh, Michael's had a moment.
Sorry.
Fugue state.
I might edit that out. That was 24 minutes. The whole prison scene, the whole prison escape, I think, is the best sequence we've had in any of the Marvel, the Marvel Netflix.
The Marvel Netflix adaptations, Michael. The Marvel Netflix adaptations. Sweet Jesus.
It is the best. Sweet Christmas, Ben. It is the best bit of TV that we've had in those series so far. It's high stakes, violent, realistic. A couple of times it looks like he's trying to do a move and it goes wrong, and I genuinely couldn't tell if maybe the stuntmen messed it up or Daredevil just missed.
Yeah. I think that's probably a more realistic way, because they like to do that with Daredevil. Don't they like him to have him a bit more as a brawler and a...
Yeah, it's a great scene. It's a really good scene. It's high energy. There's a break in the middle where the stakes change.
Oh.
It's great.
Oh.
It's a great.
Tell me, does it stray from the classic midway twist of the Marvel Netflix adaptations? Have we avoided one this time?
I haven't really seen one yet.
Good.
The midway twist, in a lot of ways, I think was revealed by the trailers.
Okay, fair enough.
Because we don't get to fake Daredevil until midway.
Okay, fair enough. Okay,
so I think the midway twist is fake Daredevil.
Okay, well that's fine though. I don't mind a ball, like a non balls to the wall fake twist. I just hate it when they kill off a decent villain and replace it with a rubbish one. That's what I don't like about the Netflix twists.
Did they do that? They only did that once.
They did it twice,
didn't they? Who was the second one?
Iron Fist, the dad.
Yeah, but he came back.
Yeah, he came back at the end, but it was the real villain was the Hand all along, and it
was the Hand.
I don't like that stuff.
Bakudo.
Bakudo
was crap.
Bakudo was shite. And they did it with season 1 of Luke Cage, where they took Cottonmouth and they replaced it with his weird cousin,
Diamondback.
Yeah, Willis Stryker. Yeah, that was awful. Yeah. Again, V-Bad show. V-Bad.
Benjamin,
yes.
That's probably why it was cancelled.
Probably, Michael, in a bloody shocking twist.
So Ben,
we lost.
The thing, right?
The heroes for hire are gone.
Hold on. Ben, hold on.
I'm going to let you finish.
I told you I had a great segue
Go on.
You son of a bitch.
Go on.
Ben, here's the interesting thing about Daredevil, right?
Yeah.
When I was watching Daredevil, I opened up on my Netflix, which I legitimately pay for, Ben.
Yeah, of course.
And was quite surprised to find there wasn't a splash page telling me season 3 of Daredevil was available.
Oh.
Which was odd.
That is odd.
Right, that's kind of odd. So I clicked onto the profile, and it had the continue watching options, Killjoys, which I've been watching recently.
Yes, you have.
And no sign of Daredevil there either.
Very strange.
So I had to type Daredevil into the search bar, Ben, to get Daredevil. And then when I clicked it, it started playing from season 1, not season 3 automatically.
That's not good.
Benjamin. Then, as you remember from last week, the Heroes for Hire, Luke or Iron Fist got cancelled.
Yes.
And just the other day, Ben, tell us what happened just the other day.
Luke Cage.
In your bombastic style.
Luke Cage was bloody axed.
Luke Cage was axed, Ben.
He was put back in a cage.
I don't know if that's good.
Yeah. Sure. Never mind. I take that. Take it away. Sorry, I was wrong. I'd like to apologise. Fuck. No, he wasn't put back in a cage. He was just put out to pasture.
Put out to pasture. Yeah.
Put out to pasture. Oh fuck. Ben. Yeah.
Yeah. So Luke Cage got cancelled too.
Yeah.
Now, when Iron Fist got cancelled, Ben, we all went, yeah, well, obviously.
Yeah. It was about time.
Yeah. Well, no, I didn't say it was about time.
I did.
Yeah, I know.
Yeah.
I believe what you actually said was whoopity-doopity-doo.
Yeah, I think that was the exact words that I used. Yeah, sounds like me.
The interesting thing, though, is that Luke Cage, meanwhile, was quite well received.
Yes. To give you a rough idea, Michael, of how well received Luke Cage was, it has a huge petition now.
Because I like it rough.
This has been Michael and Benjamin's podcast. If you're looking for Ben, he's in filing a HR complaint with our fictional HR department officer, Snooty McFlootle, who may or may not listen to my claim. There is, in response to the popularity of that show, there has been a petition similar to the style of how we brought back Lucifer and how we brought back Brooklyn Nine-Nine. The fans have come out and petitioned a big bloody bring back Luke Cage season 3 moment.
Yeah, poor old Iron Fist.
Yeah, nobody cared about Iron Fist, Michael. Let's not lie to each other. It's on change.org. So hang on, let's see how many signees we have now.
I believe the original requirement was 500 signees, which is ridiculous for a mainstream TV show.
Yeah, we have 1,585 at current count. 87, 88. It's going up as we go along.
Is that all though, Ben? I mean, we could probably get that many to bring back Michael and Benjamin's podcast.
After we get cancelled unceremoniously by Netflix.
Yeah, like a huge popular TV show like that. That's actually a surprisingly small number.
Yeah. It's not great. I've also enjoyed the denial of many fans. Many fans are like, "Oh, this means we're getting a Heroes for Hire show."
No, we're not.
I don't think it is. I don't think it's that at all. I think because Marvel has spoken about its high-end TV shows, I think Marvel is probably looking to maybe run its own thing and not depend on Netflix.
Marvel. We know Marvel 100% is running its own thing. They're starting a streaming service next year.
Exactly. So I think that's exactly what's happening. I think the contracts run out for Netflix, and I don't think Marvel's interested in renewing, which is bad news for Netflix.
Ah, that's interesting, Ben. I have taken the exact opposite tact in my view of the situation.
Go ahead.
The way I saw it was, I think this is Netflix making decisions.
Oh.
They didn't release a reason for the cancellation of Iron Fist, but I think they didn't really need to.
Yeah.
Because people went, yeah, that makes sense. No, because Netflix don't release their viewership figures, though, we don't know how popular Iron Fist was. Iron Fist may have been doing great numbers,
but
poorly critically received.
Yeah, I think Netflix is very, very... That's a good point, Michael. I think Netflix is very much interested in being considered good television. I think Netflix wants to be kind of a high-end television thing. They don't really do a lot of schlock.
Well, I don't know. Bloody the Cloverfield paradox.
Yeah, all right, fair enough. But that's to keep the lights on, Michael. That's to keep the lights on.
Well, here's the other thing, right? They did release a reason for the cancellation of Luke Cage.
Which was? I didn't see it.
Creative differences.
Fuck off.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So here's my theory, Ben. This is my theorem.
Go on.
My theorem is, this is my axiom. My theorem is, anything Netflix Marvel that isn't currently in production is done for.
Does that mean no Jessica Jones season 3?
Jessica Jones season 3 has been filmed or is in production currently.
Oh, okay. So we can't touch that.
So they'll produce that. They've already invested in that. So I think we're going to get Daredevil season 3, Jessica Jones season 2, Jessica Jones season 3, Punisher season 2.
Oh, good. I want season 2 of Punisher. I'd like that very much.
That is also already in production.
Yeah.
So
I'd like that very much.
Then that'll be it. That'll be it for Marvel Netflix.
Oh, well. I mean, it had a good run.
Well, it had a middling run, let's be honest.
Is it leaving us too soon, Michael?
That's a very good question, Ben. Well, that's a very good question, Ben. It's almost as if we planned it. I mean, yes and no. Yes and no in a lot of ways. The Iron Fist, both shows left us on a cliffhanger, Ben.
Yes. Yeah. Well.
Iron Fist was off traveling the world and promised us some more of the adventures of Colleen Wing.
Yeah.
And then Luke Cage finished on quite an interesting cliffhanger where Luke Cage had become the kingpin of crime.
Yeah, he's the baddie.
In Luke Cage season 2. And that, Ben, could have been a very interesting setup for Defenders season 2.
Yeah, absolutely, where they all go up against him.
Or he ends up butting up against another crime lord, let's say Kingpin or the Hood.
That would have been interesting. Is the Hood in it?
No.
He should have been. It would have been interesting.
Why not?
Yeah. It's interesting to me, Michael, because the wonderful oh no, I've forgotten her name. Rosario Dawson, thank you.
Yes.
Rosario Dawson actually mentioned that she didn't think her character would be making a comeback. So I don't know whether she's known about this for a while.
Well,
it was interesting.
Like, when they wrote her character out of season 2 of Luke Cage by having her go back to her mother or whatever,
after 3 episodes,
that was the farewell to that character.
Yeah.
She was done with superheroes.
Yeah, that's fair.
Also, you had to free Luke Cage up to be single so he could eventually marry Jessica Jones.
Yeah, well, that's true. You need to have him back with Jessica Jones at some point, don't you? That's the whole thing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, well, not anymore.
The real question, Ben, is will these characters move across to the Marvel streaming service?
Do they have that possibility?
Well, that's what I certainly don't know, Ben. I don't know the legal situation.
It'll be interesting. I have no doubt that Disney would have no problem buying them out and purchasing those characters back.
No, they definitely own the characters because Netflix is only the distribution and production.
But the contracts of the actors and stuff like that, does that not involve some kind of...
I think that's Marvel TV.
Legal quagmire?
But as I say, Ben, the ins and outs of this legally, I don't know.
To be fair, I still reckon that the guy who plays Matt Murdock at the minute, whose name escapes me,
Charlie Cox.
Thank you. Charlie Cox is a fantastic Matt Murdock and Daredevil.
Yep.
I just think he's very good. He's just incredibly well suited to that role. Better than, although the Mike Coulter, thank you, is a very good Luke Cage in his defense. But I think him...
Casting is one of the things that Netflix Marvel series have
very
done
well.
Right, other than arguably Danny Rand.
He was just a poor actor, though. Like, no offense to Finn Jones, but he's just not good at his job.
I disagree. I think that Danny Rand is an awkward character. He always has been. There's a reason Danny Rand is one of Marvel's less popular characters.
Yeah.
There's a reason he can't sustain his own series.
Okay.
There's a reason there haven't been Danny Rand, Iron Fist after Iron Fist after Iron Fist animated series and stuff like that.
That's true. Oh, that's fair enough.
He's a hard character to do anything with, and he works best in an ensemble.
Yeah, actually, just to put it out to listeners there, Iron Fist, has he ever had any impact on you as people? Because he hasn't on me. I haven't come across much of him. Luke Cage is far more common. My introduction to Luke Cage in any kind of serious sense was in the Avengers that Brian Michael Bendis brought back. The breakout run after but the follow up to that where they brought in new characters and Wolverine became an Avenger and stuff like that, and I really enjoyed him as a character. He was very interesting. He was married to Jessica Jones at that point. They had a baby. They had done all that. I thought he was a really interesting character.
Well, he's one of BMB's favorites.
BMB Benjamin Michael. No, wait, what's BMB?
Brian Michael Bendis.
Ah, yeah, okay, sorry, Bumb. Yes, classic Bumb. Yeah.
So Ben, we're going to move on.
Go on, yeah, sorry. But we did segue a moment ago. Yeah, we did segue a moment ago, but we'll segue again.
Let's move on and talk about other things that left us too soon.
Oh, very nice, Michael. Very smooth. Smooth transition there, Michael. Given that this was your topic for the week, Michael, why don't you lead the charge there? It is your birthday. You should have first pick.
Thanks, Ben. Let's start where we started and look at the other Marvel series that left us too soon. So there have been 2 major Marvel series cancellations.
Yes.
One of them arguably left us too soon, and that was Agent Carter.
Yes. Peggy Carter fame. Yeah. Interesting.
Ben, I liked Agent Carter.
Did you?
I did. I thought it was a fine series with good chemistry, and it was nice seeing Dominic Cooper on TV.
Bless him.
Yeah. And it also left us on a cliffhanger about the dark dimension and whatnot.
Ooh.
However, I wasn't that sad to see it go, to be honest.
Why is that, Michael? Tell me more.
I don't really know. I think, Ben, I'm not a huge fan of a period piece.
You don't like a period piece?
Yeah. I don't like things set in the past of an existing universe.
Due to the anachronisms of said thing? Or
not really the anachronisms, the constant gap filling.
Yeah, okay.
You risk heading down the Star Wars route. I can't remember who said this, but someone was interviewing and complaining about why they didn't like the prequels of the Star Wars prequels.
Yeah, fair.
And they said eventually you'll reach a point where, remember that lamp that Luke had in episode 4? What was that doing for 4 minutes while we weren't watching?
Fair point.
So, like Agent Carter, the series, not Peggy Carter, the character. I've punched my mic.
That's all right.
Agent Carter, the series, risked expanding the universe too much before the supposed explosion and expansion of the universe. You with me?
Yeah, it was too big a threat.
Yeah. So that's why I wasn't that sad to see it go.
Yeah.
Now, a series I was sad to see go, Ben, that I saw a lot of potential in.
Inhumans.
And was the Inhumans.
Yeah. You have been the greatest fan of the Inhumans since its suggested runtime. Yeah.
I mean, great special effects,
great acting,
great storytelling, great acting,
great haircuts,
great use of the characters.
Yeah, just all round good stuff.
I'm joking, Ben.
Yeah,
I'm joking. It was a lot of shit.
That was a facetious bit that both of us did there, Michael.
I think one of our favorite internet people, Ben Nando from Nando V Movies, is planning a video series about how he would save the Inhumans.
That's quite a task. That's a Herculean task. If anyone can do it, it's Nando. But
Ben, we considered it at one point and then went, nah. That's too much.
Nah.
Don't have it.
Yeah.
Ben, so moving away from Marvel.
Go on.
I suppose the most famous series that left us too soon was one Firefly.
Aww. I still miss Firefly. Take my love, take my land, take me where I cannot stand.
There we go. There's a few more subscribers gone.
Yeah. Here in this Serenity. Yeah. Bloody good show, Michael. Bloody good show. Probably the best thing Joss Whedon's ever done.
Well, I mean, another show that he did that left too early was Dollhouse.
Dollhouse was also very good. Bit too philosophical at times.
Well, I think both of those shows had a similar flaw, and it's not really a flaw. It may be a flaw in Joss Whedon's way of thinking about TV rather than the shows themselves.
For example,
in that they started a little generically. A little.
He likes a generic start, though.
Yeah, and he really wants to start small and build the universe up.
He likes that. He likes that kind of thing.
I mean, I trust enough in the storytelling of a Mr. Whedon that even though season 1 of Dollhouse was borderline dreadful, especially the first few episodes, they were so procedural and dull and a bit exploitative.
Very exploitative.
But I trust enough that he had the idea of what that was going to become and was kind of forced into it because he knew they were running out of time in season 2.
Network interference. Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, again, I think it would have been great to see Dollhouse develop over 5 or 6 years.
I think a lot of Joss Whedon things would have done very well in the age of Netflix. I think,
Do you think that they would have more time to breathe? More time
I think
to
I just think
as to what they're supposed
to
be.
Netflix never seems to worry about taking a risk with something. It seems to be quite comfortable, and especially in these post-Legion days where Legion is a television show that did very well, like odd rambly kind of things with some serious tones, they can do better these days. We've come to expect more from television. I'm not saying Joss Whedon was ahead of his time. I'm just saying he was ahead of his budget at the time. And I think that's the thing. I think,
and ahead of the world's budget for patience for Joss Whedon nonsense.
Yeah, I think we've had our quota of Whedon, haven't we? Like, I think we can fairly say at this point that Avengers, the original Avengers, if we negate the sheer cultural impact, which is difficult to do, I know, but I think we could say it's one of the weaker movies in the canon now.
Oh, shut up, Ben.
Yeah.
We definitely can
say that. We can say that. I'll say that.
We absolutely can.
I'll say that.
Avengers,
but one thing we can both agree on.
Absolutely fantastic film. It's not something we both agree on.
One thing we can both agree on, Michael.
It is absolutely not something we
can
agree
both agree on, Michael.
One thing we
can both agree on, Michael, is that Joss Whedon has left us perfectly on time.
That, are you?
Is that Joss Whedon has left us perfectly on time. So he's gone, and we can leave him out. Anything else, Michael, that left us too soon?
Well, Ben, let's talk about one of Joss Whedon's contemporaries.
Go on.
Brian Fuller.
Oh, Brian Fuller.
Not named after the chemical compound Buckminster fullerene.
Oh, really?
It's just a coincidence.
Oh, that's been my go-to pickup line for several years now, and it turns out I've been lying to young ladies' faces. That's awful.
Did you know that Brian Fuller took his stage name from the chemical compound Buckminster fullerene?
Yeah, that was kind of the lead on. Then they were like, "I had no idea. Take me now." It was a whole thing. It would pan out really well every week.
Good. Every week. Very interesting. Ben, did you watch the TV show Pushing Daisies?
I didn't.
It was not bad. It was odd. It was unusual.
It was about dead people, wasn't it?
It was about?
Dead people.
Kind of. It was about Lee Pace.
Okay.
You'll know him from being Ronan from the Marvel movies.
Yes, I knew that.
And Lee Pace was a pie maker.
Oh.
And Lee Pace had an ability. And his ability was, if he touched a dead person, they came back to life.
Okay.
But if he touched them again, they would be dead forever.
That's weird.
It is weird, and it was kind of there were aspects of proceduralness about it where he would investigate murders, and bring the people back to life momentarily to find out what was going on.
Okay.
Or he would bring them back to life to investigate their own murder, and then they'd die. But he accidentally brought the love of his life back to life.
And then he couldn't touch her.
Exactly.
Difficult.
And she was played by the lady who played a lesbian in Brookside in the 90s.
Emily Mortimer.
No. I've forgotten her name, actually. I've forgotten the actress's name.
I'll go take a look. You keep chatting to me. Tell me more about Pushing Daisies.
And then, Pushing Daisies, unfortunately, was unceremoniously cancelled halfway through its second season.
Oh.
It made it to the mid-season point of its second season, and that was the end.
Oh. Why is that, Michael? Why is that?
Ratings, the mysterious vagaries of the early 2000s TV landscape.
Bloody vagaries, eh? I know this. Anna Friel, Michael. Well done. You were nearly there.
The fans of Pushing Daisies, Ben, even... What is it? When was that cancelled? 2006?
I would imagine so, yes.
You're looking at the Wikipedia.
I'm looking at the Wikipedia here.
They are still, to this day, holding out hope for a wrap-up movie in the vein of Serenity.
That's a bit sad. 2009, Michael.
2009, okay.
A bit
so
later.
More recent than I thought.
A bit later.
Yeah, but that was a very sad series.
Did you enjoy it as the show?
Too soon. It was a good show. It had that tiny loud woman. Christine Chenoweth, is that her name?
It's here in front of me. Give me another 2 seconds.
She was the waitress in the pie shop.
Christine.
She's gone on to probably the best things of them all since then.
It was Christian Chenoweth. Chenoweth. No, you were much closer. Yeah. Oh, she's very loud.
Yeah, she's tiny but loud.
Yeah, tiny but loud. Yeah, she's tiny but loud. I always confuse her with the lady from American Gods who plays Ostara.
I think that is her.
Okay. Oh, it is her. I was right. I didn't confuse her with anyone. I was just right on the money.
There you go.
Yeah.
Tiny but loud.
Yeah, tiny but loud.
Benjamin.
Yes.
Did you watch the TV show Almost Human?
Yes, I did. Great show, Michael. Great show. Completely rent from us far too soon. I couldn't agree with you more. Yeah, that was a great, starring podcast favorite bloody Carl Urban, Urban, and Michael Ealy, as his android
Michael Ealy
sidekick.
Is a very good actor who's very underrated.
Very underrated. Underrated, Michael. Yeah, Carl Urban not underrated at all. Perfectly rated because he's great. But yeah, Michael Ealy very underrated. Great bit of cyberpunk dystopia, city in a wall kind of thing. Very very good.
And really well done. So that even though it wasn't the highest budget show of all time, it maintained a believable.
Futuristic.
This is happening in the time period they're saying it is atmosphere.
I enjoyed much of the little technological twists that I found in that. I enjoyed, for example, the mask you could spray on your face so the cameras couldn't pick you up.
That was nice.
Things like that. I thought these were nice touches. That's technology that isn't necessarily unbelievable because it kind of exists now. You can buy those special coats that refract light in a certain way, and celebrities use them with paparazzi and stuff like that.
Doesn't Daniel Radcliffe wear one?
Yeah, and it refracts anything that flashes in his direction and ruins the shot. It overexposes him instantly.
The word you're looking for, Ben, there is reflects.
Okay, sorry, reflects. Thank you. Yeah. Thank you.
Reflects and refracts are different.
Are they?
So,
oh man.
I mean, and Ben, I know that sometimes I get words wrong, and when I do it, it's always on purpose.
No, I get them wrong by mistake, Michael.
Benjamin, probably the biggest. Well, there was a week episode of Almost Human, and the week episode starred famous female MMA fighter of the time, Gina Carano.
I don't remember this.
Gina Carano was the Ronda Rousey of her day. 4 years before Ronda Rousey came along.
Okay.
And she was a cyborg assassin robot.
That's very good.
And she was like a sexy cyborg robot.
You have to have a sexy...
And that was probably the weakest episode.
Okay. I enjoyed that one. That was good world building, good characterization from the two lads. Not a bad procedural.
Yeah, and Ben... It left us on a cliffhanger, as many of these shows did, and I really wanted to know what was beyond the wall.
As to the wall, yeah, the bloody wall. I think things were good outside the wall, I think.
You think things were better outside the wall?
Well, no, not necessarily, but I think they would have been better if they got outside the wall.
That's interesting.
After a certain
so
amount
it wasn't
of time.
a Judge Dredd-style wasteland?
I don't think so. I think that was the connotation, but I think maybe not. Maybe not. I think there were probably some... It reminded me very much... That was a very popular trope at the time. Do you remember Beyond the Pines? Do you remember that show? Or The Pines? With Matt Dillon from Fox?
No.
This is interestingly one that wasn't gone too soon. It was cancelled for the right reasons. But it was based around a town in the future in a wasteland, and you couldn't leave the town. If you left the town, the mutated humans would eat you. Spoilers for a show that wasn't very good, right. But that was very similar. This world inside a town, you couldn't go outside because if you did, you'd be eaten by the hyper evolved humans.
That's kind of how I feel about Dublin as opposed to the rest of Ireland.
Okay.
If you leave Dublin, you might be eaten by the mutated locals.
Those people are called Kildarians. It's not their fault.
Take that, Kildare.
Yeah.
Take that.
Boom.
Another strike on Kildare.
That show was called Wayward Pines. Wayward Pines. It was interesting until the twist, and then it was like meh.
What was the twist? The twist that there was mutants?
The twist, well, it turns out it was a whole time-travel-y, timey-wimey thing. It turns out that they thought the town was a prison in their time. It was actually a community in the future made to look like the 21st century, but it was actually very far in the future, and they were kept inside because they couldn't leave, because then monsters would get them.
That's like The Village. It's like the movie The Village, but in the future.
Yeah, exactly. It was The Village in the 21st century. I think it was based on a Stephen King thing.
Bloody Stephen King. Very Halloween relevant.
Very Halloween relevant. We've had a relatively Halloween relevant. Speaking of that, Michael, next week's episode is going to be interesting. We're going to take a look at all of the independent shorts and little fan films and things like that exist in the horrorverse. And with that in mind, Michael, I'd like to ask our lovely, lovely listeners, do you have any kind of independent horror that you've watched recently, especially our big horror fans? Do you have anything that isn't big mainstream horror that you thoroughly recommend? If you could let us...
Ben, hold on a second. Let me interrupt you there.
Go on.
What you're saying is horror shorts from the internet and that type of thing.
Yes.
Not necessarily independent films. I don't know if you have the time to watch a lot of independent films.
The short films, the little independent short films that you see on things like Vimeo, on the YouTube channels... let us know if you have any personal favorites, because they're quite often very good, because they're little love letters to the genre in general.
And sometimes, Ben, they end up being adapted into
full-blown things. Yeah, so let us know down below of any ones that you thoroughly recommend, because I'm not a huge horror guy. Michael probably will do far better on this episode, but I'd like to know more.
Well, Ben, I already have a couple in mind.
See, miles ahead
of me.
Just
an example for the listeners of the kind of things we're talking about. One of the most famous is probably Lights Out.
Oh, I don't know that one. Go on, tell me more.
Well, Lights Out. Well, I won't spoil it because we'll talk about it next week. But Lights Out was a little short proof of concept horror short.
Yes,
which was adapted into a not quite as good movie, but a movie which had the short integrated into it. And the short was the best part of the movie.
Interesting.
Mama is another one.
Oh no way! That was a short originally, was it?
Yes.
Oh, that's interesting.
A very good short.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that's us. That's it from us this week. As always, we are on YouTube. We are on Instagram. Please let us know what you think of us on Instagram and YouTube. And most importantly...
No, don't let us know what you think of us.
Most importantly...
Please don't let us know that.
Most importantly, we are on iTunes, and every single review helps. Please.
Ben, remember, we have to do a call to action. Ask the people... which shows or TV shows or movies did they feel ended too soon?
Yeah, as always, ladies and gentlemen, we want to hear from you. We want to know what you miss, what left us too soon. We've had one comment before from Crom of Cromcraft, where Michael featured at once upon a time. Go over and check out his channel. But he told us that Reaper was one that he felt was cancelled far too soon, and I agreed with him. It was left us hanging.
Yes.
Left us hanging. But if you have any more, Crom, and other people, if you have any more, please let us know. That's it from us this week, ladies and gentlemen. Bye!
Bye.